All right, Agency Alpha users, welcome to your onboarding video day 2. We are going to be showing you how to trigger one-on-one automations as well as trigger bulk automations out to people. Okay, so this is how to trigger drips, how to trigger automations, how to trigger that on a one-on-one basis, and then as well on a bulk basis. Okay, there's a few different ways to trigger automations. The first way that you are going to have to trigger an automation is on adding a new lead. Okay, so whenever we add a lead into the system, regardless of who that person is, we're always going to add name, phone number, and mobile. Name, mobile, and email. And then the groups are actually what trigger automation. Okay, so this is what you need to understand. Customers, BFY, and prospects, BFY, are never going to trigger automation on their own. This is how we sort people in our CRM or lead manager on who they are, a prospect or a customer, okay? As a built for you user, you should expect that every other one of these groups that are in here are going to trigger some type of campaign because they're built in here to trigger campaigns for the most part. So customers and prospects, the group will not trigger automation, but groups are how you trigger any of the drips that are in your account. Okay, so when you come into your Agency Alpha Built for You package and you come over to the tools, SMS drips, you'll notice these are all the Built for You SMS drip automations that we have included in your account. They are attached with groups. Okay, so when you're looking at this, groups trigger automation. If I add Matt Hahn into the onboarding BFY group, right? If I add Matt Hahn to the onboarding BFY group, when you add a lead into a group, it's going to search the system to see if there's any drips attached to that group, and it will schedule those drips out accordingly. So if I add Matt Hahn to the onboarding BFY, it is going to trigger this onboarding BFY campaign. Okay, that's how it works. If I'm going to add Matt Hahn to the Auto No Home campaign, it is going to trigger the Auto No Home drip. Okay, so this is one way to trigger automations, by adding leads into the system. The second way to trigger automations is by doing it inside the lead profile directly. This is one way that you can trigger automations inside a profile. Groups trigger automations. You need to copy or move a group in, or copy or move a lead into that group to trigger it. So if I want to copy Matt Hahn into an Auto No Home drip, I'm going to simply type Auto No Home, copy him into the group, and it will add him to that campaign. There's two differences between copy and move, and they're very specific. As you can see, this user has two different groups attached to their account, okay? If I use the copy feature and I copy Matt Hahn into the Auto No Home group, and I refresh this page real quick, you will notice that Matt Hahn is in 3 groups now, okay? 3 groups. If I use the move feature, it will move this lead out of every other group that they are in and put them only into the prospects group, okay? So understanding the difference of moving and copying is important, okay? So that is 2 ways to add somebody to a group and trigger automation. Inside the profile itself, using the actions button here, copy, move lead, or when you add a lead into the system here, you can do that immediately. The last way you can copy or move somebody into a group is by physically dragging them into some of these pipeline statuses. These pipeline statuses have automation attached to them. So as I move Matt into the proposal, it's going to put him into the prospects group and into the quote follow-up group to trigger those automations. You can use the lead deal status here to add a lead in, put them into the sale column, and trigger onboarding campaigns. Those are the 3 ways to do one-on-one automations and trigger a drip. The last way to do it is on a, actually this is the 4th way to really trigger an automation on a specific lead. You can come to your lead manager here and search a person over here. Like I'm going to search Matthew, find him in my system, and I'm going to check the box and use the action button to copy and move that lead to a specific group, okay? Same thing as the other one, copy and moving it into the groups triggers the automation. The last way to do that is by bulk. If you need to trigger an automation by bulk and you're adding a whole list of 300 Auto No Home customers, you can add them in as a customer first because they're a customer, and then you can add them as the Auto No Home. Just make sure the list is truly just Auto No Home people. We won't be able to magically decipher who has auto insurance but doesn't have home insurance on a master customer list. You have to have specific lists of specific people that you're triggering bulk drips on, okay? Those are the few ways to trigger automation in your account. Very simple, very straightforward. Do it on the lead ad, do it from the individual profile over here, or you can do that from your lead manager section over here. If you search that specific lead, and if you use this is the lead I want to send an automation to, or if you have multiple, you just check the list and then you're going to use the same copy feature. Pick which one you're doing and hit copy or move. Okay, those are how you do it. Call to action: trigger a few campaigns on yourself and your spouse or your employees in your office. Add a few leads in here, trigger them a few different ways so that you know how to do this. It will really, really help you be proactive in knowing how to use the system. Hope that helps. We'll see you tomorrow on your next onboarding video.